Hi, my name is Jeff Fretz. Welcome to Axiory's news broadcast. Here's the latest high-impact market news for the week ending February 17th. Much volatility was seen in the Japanese yen last week on talk of so-called currency war and on concern that the expansive policies that drove down the currency would be criticized by G7 and G20 leaders. The G7 statement released in the early part of the week and subsequent comments from officials confused the markets. Meanwhile, Euro extended its correction last week as data showed deepened recession in Eurozone and as traders lightened up positions ahead of elections in Italy. After a two-day meeting in Moscow, G20 leaders agreed to a joint statement with promise that they would refrain from competitive devaluation and resist all forms of protectionism and keep our markets open. Meanwhile, they also pledged that the advanced economies will develop credible medium-term fiscal strategies. Yen was not singled out in the statement and suggested that Japan is given a green light to continue its expansive policies. Also, the statement itself is not much stronger, if not equal to the G7 statement released earlier in the week. Now, the most important upcoming fundamental news for the week starting February 18th. In the week ahead, investors will be awaiting Wednesday's minutes of the Federal Reserve's January meeting, while the BOE is to release the minutes from the latest policy meeting the same day. Meanwhile, Eurozone manufacturing activity in Germany's IFO Business Climate Index will be closely watched. The euro was almost unchanged against the dollar on Friday, as the single currency remained under pressure following worse than expected data on Eurozone fourth quarter growth on Thursday. Data on Thursday showed that the Eurozone gross domestic product contracted by 0.6% in the 3 months to December, compared to expectations for a 0.4% decline. It was the fastest rate of decline since 2009 and marked the third consecutive quarter of contraction. And the U.S. data on Friday indicated that the economic recovery remains uneven. The New York Federal Reserve reported manufacturing in New York State expanded in February, while a survey showed a surprisingly strong rise in U.S. consumer sentiment. The dollar was higher against the yen on Friday, for the first time in 4 sessions after a draft statement by the Group of 20 Nations avoided singling out Japan for criticism over policies which weakened its currency. The yen was higher against the dollar and the euro earlier in the week after a statement by the G7 indicated concern over excessive movement in the value of the yen. Following the G20 meeting, investors' focus turned to the upcoming announcement of the next governor of the Bank of Japan after Governor Masaki Shirakawa said earlier this month that he plans to step down on March 19th. 3 weeks earlier than expected. In the week ahead, investors will be awaiting Wednesday's minutes of the Federal Reserve's January meeting, while Japanese trade data will also be eagerly awaited. Moving on to the Multitrader section, today's Multitrader strategy is Trader's Cap, which is one of the average risk strategies. It made a 0.49% profit last week, and today we have chosen its monthly gains for the last 3 months to give you more insight into the performance characteristics of this strategy. During the last 3 months, the strategy achieved these gains, and the performance is declining. Even though this strategy was profitable during December and January, achieving 1.07% and 3.79%, it has lost 1.84% so far this month. That's it for this week. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep in touch with us. Have a great week. Goodbye.